The year was 2044. Science had come a long way since the Dark Ages. The world had evolved beyond anyone's wildest dreams. Flying cars and physical teleportation once seemed to be ridiculous fantasies, but now were a part of modern reality. Anything was possible, even the most unimaginable of things. Controversial scientist David Splinter and his team had been working on something groundbreaking for over 10 years. A creation that would shock the world to its very core. The first ever human robot. It was given the name Zeta. Once completed, Zeta was allowed to walk among humans and live as one of them. Many people tried to stop this, suggesting that it would be the beginning of the human race's end. Others supported it and embraced Zeta into their world. Multiple lawsuits were filed against David Splinter, but most of them never made it to court. Zeta could think and feel like a human. It ate, drank, slept, and did so many other things that normal humans did on a daily basis. Zeta became famous quite quickly for obvious reasons. It became a millionaire in a matter of months. Zeta was given its own TV show entitled The Life of a Human Robot. Cameras followed it around daily to document its every movement. The show did massive numbers in the ratings. No matter how people felt about Zeta, they were incredibly fascinated by it. Zeta's first few months alive were a whirlwind to say the least. It was a very friendly thing. All Zeta wanted was a friend, but it never happened. Instead, all people did was stare and point at Zeta, as if it was some kind of monster. It would feel sad every time the camera crew left, or whenever an interview ended, because then it knew that the interaction was over. People had gotten what they wanted from Zeta, and they didn't need it anymore. This made Zeta extremely upset. It just wanted to be treated like everyone else. Despite being surrounded by so many living creatures, Zeta felt alone. It hid itself away in a dark room for days in a state of depression, feeling like there was no point. It just wanted a friend. Someone to talk to that wouldn't judge, stare, or point. Then Zeta got an idea that caused an overwhelming feeling of excitement. What if Zeta had someone like it to talk to? Another human robot. The more Zeta thought about its idea, the more impatient it got. Zeta waited until the early hours of the morning to sneak into David Splinter's lab. What took 10 years for David and his team to accomplish only took 6 hours for the advanced mind of Zeta, bringing a human robot to life. Zeta named its new friend Delvit. From the very moment it opened its eyes, something wasn't right. Zeta noticed this almost immediately. "Hi, I'm Zeta, the first ever human robot. You're my new best friend." Delvit gave Zeta a look of pure hatred. Zeta backed away in fear. It knew it had created the exact opposite of what it wanted. Delvit approached Zeta. It extended out its hand, as if it wanted a handshake. Zeta reached out its hand and reluctantly shook Delvit's. Zeta's eyes then widened with horror as Delvit ripped off its arm. Sparks were flying, and dark blue blood gushed to the floor. Delvit methodically took Zeta apart piece by piece, then reprogrammed it to be something far more demented. Zeta opened its eyes. It now had an uncontrollable hatred guiding its every decision. Delvit admired its work. Together, Zeta and David then began building a master plan that would change everything. 6 a.m., Monday, September 22nd. David Splinter arrived for work. He parked his car in the parking lot like he always did, then went to the trunk to retrieve his large briefcase. But as David opened it, he was engulfed by a rather strange feeling. He felt the urge to turn around, and he did. David almost collapsed from the shock. In front of him were hundreds upon hundreds of human robots. What was once David's dream had now become his worst nightmare. From within the crowd of human robots, Zeta emerged. It stared into David's dark brown eyes, his creator, the one who sent him out into the world to be alone. Zeta put its 2 hands on David's face and proceeded to squeeze the life out of him. Blood dripped from his eye sockets as Zeta applied godly pressure. It then raised David up high into the air, showcasing him to the others. As they all cheered, Zeta began to devour David's head with freakish strength. His head now resembled a tarnished watermelon. David watched on, feeling prideful of Zeta's actions, but knew this was only the beginning. As the weeks and months went by, the human robots grew into thousands, and then into millions. Every human being that resided on planet Earth had been executed. David's main goal, since the day it opened its eyes, was to wipe out the entire human race. Zeta only ever wanted a friend that understood, and now he had that. Zeta and David led human robots to victory over the beings that had dominated this world for its entire lifespan. Now nobody could dispute that they belonged.